From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Cascade Paint & Supply is Redding's oldest family-owned paint store, established in 1953. We are the largest Dunn Edwards dealer in the nation, and most of our products are made in the U.S. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are ready to answer your questions and help you today.
Well, happy Wednesday morning to you all. You know, this is the day we've been talking about with the changes heading our way. We're going to be dealing with heavier rainfall, snow levels fairly high, winds will be picking up in some areas. We've still got some hazardous seas out on the ocean here, and just a lot to talk about here. So let's get you right through it and sit down and take a look at the forecast here with me, have some of your morning coffee, and we'll get you through the day, depending on no matter where you are. If you're on the coast, in the mountains, in the valley, we're going to get you through the day today. There's that rain, thunderstorms, and possible flooding, especially along the coast where we do have those advisories there. Now the snow levels will start off high, as I mentioned, but they will drop by later tonight and into tomorrow. More on that a little bit later. The winds are picking up, especially out towards Siskiyou and Modoc County, but even the eastern mountains, Lassen, Plumas County, eastern Shasta, Hayman, even eastern Butte County could see some gusty winds out there as well. A closer look at that a little bit later. And surf advisories on the coast. Now that's through the morning. We do expect to see conditions improve in the ocean in general. They've been looking at some really high seas out there, but the good news is we should start to see some relief in that. Now, getting you through the day today, there it is. You got the chance for thunderstorms for parts of the valley here. Siskiyou, Modoc County, there's that rain in the forecast, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. And in the eastern mountains, we're going to hold off until the second half of the day before you start seeing some of that rain begin to move in. Now for the coast, we're starting off this morning with that rain here, right? And even some thunderstorms in the forecast this afternoon. That's also the case for the inland areas and for Trinity County. Not out of the question for an isolated thunderstorm too, but the best chances I think will be on the coast, inland, and for parts of the valley as far as thunderstorms are concerned here for today. But anyone could see that potential. Okay, so here's this overall setup. This right here is the atmospheric river that produced a ton of rain for our neighbors up north in the Pacific Northwest. This will be heading to the south and east. Now, it won't be as strong as what they saw up north, but it will definitely have plenty of moisture to work with, and it will definitely bring us some decent rainfall. So this is what we have in store for us today. This is the moisture source. This is going to help to kind of pick up some of that moisture behind it as well. And then behind that is some colder air. Let's call that cold and unstable air, right? That instability that we talk about is what could really help to produce those thunderstorms as well, and not to mention lower those snow levels. This right here is the next disturbance that'll come in behind this and bring us more activity going on into your Thursday as well. So let's walk you through the timing of it all and talk about what we can expect here. So we take you through the morning hours and we've got the heaviest rainfall for the coast. By noon, we're beginning to see that rain begin to pick up in intensity for the valley, but still some heavy rainfall for Trinity County and Siskiyou, most of Siskiyou County at this point as well. We're on the back edge of that heavy rainfall for the coast at this point, but all of this will shift eastward as we take you through the day. There's 3 p.m. today. Now we're kind of on the back edge of that heavier rainfall for the valley as we're beginning to see that kind of come in. Remember, I was talking about the second half of the day. Well, there it is coming in here for the eastern mountains. This is all heavy snow, but it's heavy snow above 7,000 feet. So travel concerns, yes, maybe some of the higher mountain passes. Okay, especially as you head down into the Sierra, say on maybe even south of that, as you get closer to Tahoe, there may be some issues here above 6,000 feet as far as chain requirements are concerned. There's heavy snow on Mount Shasta, the mountain, right? So we're going to be dealing with some pretty heavy snowfall for some of the highest elevations. That's 3 p.m. today. That pushes eastward. Now, that main swath of moisture that we saw, that's out of here. But now that cold and unstable air I was talking about, that's in place. So at this point, now we're dealing with the potential for showers, scattered showers, and maybe even some thunderstorms here as well as we go into tonight. Now you see how it kind of tapers off. It's not very widespread, but we're still seeing the potential for some snow flurries. Snow levels begin to drop this evening and tonight, and this is when we start seeing issues with travel concerns here in some of the lower passes. So here we are, 6 a.m. on Thursday. Remember that next disturbance coming behind the one today. Well, this is for tomorrow morning, that next disturbance coming in. We're seeing heavier rainfall again for the north coast. Snow beginning to drop down to about 3,000 feet. Okay, so some of the areas that you know your elevation, right? So I think we're going to be looking at rain and snow, a rain-snow mix possibly around Weaverville, Hayfork, but mainly in the form of rain. Could we be dealing with some chain requirements on Highway 299 west of I-5? It's not entirely out of the question, say around Buckhorn Summit, for example. But I think it's going to be borderline. I think our worst conditions are going to be east of I-5. That's where we have the higher mountain passes. But number two, maybe even north on I-5, say around Mount Shasta City northward, we could be looking at the potential for some of those chain requirements even on parts of I-5. But here we are, 10 a.m. Thursday. Again, we could even see an isolated thunderstorm for parts of Trinity County. You can kind of see that main disturbance continue to push itself off to the east. By 3 p.m. Thursday, scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms in the valley. We're seeing scattered snow flurries out there. Chain requirements continue to be a concern. Travel is a concern here. And then even into Thursday evening. However, by Thursday night, and in particular by Friday morning, that rain and snow is pretty much gone. So, thunderstorm outlook for today. As you can see, most of Northern California is looking at the potential, at least, for some isolated thunderstorms here throughout the day today. It kind of tapers off. At least you can see kind of shifts northward. However, I do think even places like Red Bluff and Chico could see the potential for some thunderstorms here even for tomorrow. You may remember yesterday I was talking about how the Storm Prediction Center wasn't on board with that potential for thunderstorms, but now it looks like they've decided to kind of come on board with Weather NorCal. All right, yeah, I was talking about that potential for thunderstorms here the last 24, 48 hours. All right, so here's what we've got. Rain off to the north into the west. We've got rain also down into the valley, and you can see this is typical. And this is something we always talk about. Heaviest rainfall on the coast, tapers off heading to the east, although it's going to be pretty impressive. I think some of us in the valley could approach 1 inch of rain, especially say the north end of the valley. Now, with all of that rain and what we're talking about, that rain, flood alerts are a concern. There's a flood watch until 2 o'clock Thursday morning, and quite honestly, I think that may be extended through Thursday afternoon because we're going to be looking at more of that heavy rainfall at times on Thursday as well. But this is the typical spots here. We've already seen flooding on the north coast. We've already got a saturated ground. So you get the heavy rainfall on top of that, and flooding is certainly going to be a concern. Now, one thing that hasn't been mentioned is potential for mudslides and debris flows. I think we could see that on Highway 299 and really all those mountain highways here, especially in Trinity County, Del Norte and Humboldt counties as well. So be on the lookout for that as we start seeing some of that heavier rain move in. Snow. All right, let's switch gears, talk about the snow. So you can see Mount Shasta City. It's, picking up on the potential of 1 to 2 inches of snow. Is this a major snowstorm for the lower elevations of Northern California? No, but it's a pretty good snowstorm for those higher elevations. I think the ski park could be picking up a lot of snow, 6 to 12 inches. Certainly not out of the question as you start getting to the 5,000 to 6,000 feet. Now again, today, high snow levels, 6,000 feet and higher. However, by tomorrow, we're down to 3,000 feet. So I think we can see heavier snowfall, especially out towards the ski park. Hopefully, we can get a nice, pack, if you will, or a start, a nice base, if you will, for the ski park. All right, so winter weather alerts. Yeah, for all the areas in purple here is where we do have a winter weather advisory, that is. So mainly above 3,500 feet here, mainly above 4,000 to 4,500 feet off to the east. Of course, you saw some of the totals that we do expect for some of those lower elevations. Long range, it's been going back and forth this weekend. I think the best chance now looks to be on Sunday. Then as we go into Monday, it dries out. Now let's extend this all the way through the end of next week. It looks dry. We don't have anything heading our way anytime soon. This looks promising. This is the end of next week. This looks promising, but forecast models are taking this down to the south and maybe pushing it through Southern California. So we look at the precipitation outlook through basically from December 12th through the 16th. So of course it's not including today and tomorrow, right? Because it will be rainfall. But we extend beyond today and tomorrow, and we actually have better chances of seeing below normal rainfall. So it's not looking very promising for a lot of rain as we do go through next week. We do have wind we need to tell you about too. As you can see, for parts of Siskiyou and Modoc County, there's a wind advisory through the day today. We could be looking at gusts from the southwest, possibly upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Let's take you through the day. All right, so here we are today at about noon, especially along the Shasta Valley, along that I-5 corridor. This is where big rigs can be a bit of a problem here when you get those gusty winds kind of down in that valley. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. If you're going down I-5, be aware that those winds will be very gusty. Also, gusty winds to the east is what we're looking at here by midday. Now, by the second half of the day, as we get into the evening, those winds will subside, although still a little gusty just to the south and east of Susanville. But by tonight and tomorrow, those winds should subside. Maybe a little breezy in some spots, but certainly not what we're going to see here for today. Okay, so your wave heights. What we're seeing here is upwards of about 14 feet. I'm not expecting to see a lot of change for that. We're not going to see them lower a whole lot, but they will lower a bit here as we do go into your Thursday. There is a high surf advisory that's been extended until 11 o'clock this morning, so just be aware of that if you're heading out to the beach. Your marine forecast, southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots, waves from the south at 8 feet at 9 seconds. There's a hazardous seas warning along the coast here, but until about 11 a.m. That should also be allowed to expire before noon. Here's what it looks like today. Showers and thunderstorms across the board, although the best chance for thunderstorms will be in the valley, inland areas, and even along the coast. Temperatures are starting to drop as well. It will be noticeably cooler out there. So here's your 7-day outlook. Now you can see here snow levels high today, 6,000 feet and higher, but we're seeing them lower significantly. 3,000 feet for Siskiyou, 3,500 feet for Modoc, and there's about 4,000 feet and higher for the eastern mountains, basically the northern Sierra and southern Cascades. It dries out Friday and most likely Saturday as well. Maybe another chance for showers on Sunday. Fairly high snow levels, but then we get with drier conditions here for Monday, Tuesday of next week. Chance for showers and thunderstorms both today and tomorrow in the valley. Otherwise, could see some brief periods of heavy rainfall, maybe even some small hail. We'll have to watch for the potential for that as well. And then, of course, as we go into Friday, we've got dry conditions, dry through the weekend, and dry going through most likely all of next week. Your 7-day outlook for the North Coast, chance for showers and thunderstorms there as well, not to mention the inland areas. I've got snow levels 6,000 feet today in Trinity County, down to about 3,000 feet by Thursday. I've included a chance for showers on Sunday, although not out of the question for maybe a stray shower on Saturday as well, especially for Del Norte County. You head south of Del Norte, most likely a slimmer chance on Saturday. And then as we go into your Monday and Tuesday, it starts to dry out again. Have a great day, everybody.